So today we are going to discuss about hospitality and the role played by food and beverage sector in the hospitality.
Learning objectives we have in front of us include to orient the learners to the nature and functions of food and beverage industry, to describe the subsectors involved in the food and beverage industry, what are the elements under that comes under the F&B industry, to comprehend the management and ownership types in the industry, and explain the types of food production services. That is very primary things that every student should know, and to describe the menu planning and the purpose of a menu planning. And these are the objectives we'll be dealing with in this particular module.
In fact, hospitality is part of the tourism industry, and food and beverage has very significant role in the hospitality as well as in the tourism. Let us see what is hospitality and the importance of food and beverage sector. Hospitality, the word meaning a very warm reception, welcome that we can provide to the guests who are coming to a place. But nowadays what happens is it represents an industry. The hospitality is an industry nowadays. It's a term used for representing the whole industry that provides accommodation as well as food and beverage and other sort of things. The hospitality industry is a part of larger enterprise known as travel and tourism industry. So it's a component of tourism industry. The travel and tourism is a vast group of businesses. It's an amalgam of businesses with one goal in common, providing necessary and desired products and services to customers and travelers. Accommodation facilities constitute a vital and fundamental part of tourism supply. Accommodation represents the kind of facilities and services that we provide for facilitating the sleep and other required resting purposes of activities of tourists, those who reach a particular sector. So accommodation itself is a vast sector which consists of varied sectors inside. Among important inputs which flow into the tourism system, the accommodation is forming a vital component of tourism infrastructure. So when we think about tourism, there is a particular category of constructions, we call it as superstructure. In fact, accommodation and the hospitality sector comes under the category of superstructure. Infrastructure represents the basic facilities and the kind of amenities that are required for the survival, the business of, for the functioning of tourism. But superstructure is beyond that. So hospitality industry, particularly the hotels, the accommodation sector is part of the superstructure of tourism. Hospitality is certainly, it's a service industry. It provides a particular service so that the tourist will be getting an experience. The experience is connected to stay. The experience is connected to sleeping and taking rest. So this industry provides the experience of having comfortable, safe and pleasurable stay in a particular place. And particularly this sector aims to serve and satisfy the guests, those who are visiting a place. The guests here are the tourists. And this industry includes companies and organizations which provide food or drink and or the accommodation to the people who are away from home. So the significance is here that the tourists, the guests, those are arriving in a particular tourist destination, they are far away from that location. That means they are strangers over there. So the hospitality industry has to take care of the strangeness aspect of the visitors over there. Though it's a service industry, this industry can meet the needs of people with a feel of welcome and goodwill while they are away from their homes. If a sort of warmthness, a sort of comfort, a sort of welcome has to be felt by the visitors. So that is the significance of hospitality. The industry provides service to people when they are away from their home and sometimes even when they are at home. For example, home delivery of food would be part of the hospitality industry. When it is a home delivery, it is part of the food and beverage sector, which itself is a part of hospitality sector. In the case of home delivery, the food is being served, food is being provided to the customers, those who are sitting in their home. So there, The tourists are not away from their place, rather the consumers are, rather they are in their place itself. Food and beverage, lodging, recreation, travel and tourism are all in one way or other considered as part of hospitality sector. We can find a range of businesses in it. A wide range of businesses can be seen in the hospitality sector. They can be small, large, privately owned, publicly owned businesses. So that means the variation, the classification, the typology can be so large. The hospitality and tourism industry reaches every corner of the globe. That means nowadays it is not limited to developed countries or certain regions, but it is there across the world. Every country wants to have tourism industry. They want to have the hospitality industry in order to provide the jobs, to provide the entertainment options, food and beverage options, transportation services, and a place to sleep and stay, have a comfortable and safe stay over there. The objectives of the hospitality industry, it is very important. The managers and employees, those who are working in the hospitality industry, need to understand what is the fundamental purpose of being the part of the sector. Most importantly, we need to understand the tourists are strangers, the guests are strangers, so they have to have a feel that they are being welcomed. So the primary objective of hospitality industry is making the guests feel welcome personally by the host, by the industry professionals. And making things work for guests, we have to provide very clean and very good working conditions and a sort of environment over there. And ensuring that operation will provide service and meet its budget. That is also very important. The economical aspects of it. The operations should generate revenue also. It should generate profit also. But it should be in a particular kind of situation that tourists may not be spending extra money for this. So they should also feel that things are being taking place in their budget, limited to their budget. There are large number of different kinds of hospitality sectors can be seen in the parlance of hospitality industry. Hotels are there, motels are there. Motel represent lot of hotels. Hotels are the common accommodation units. That is a common terminology. Resorts are there. These are built on very beautiful locations with having a particular theme. Vacation ownership accommodation units are there. Hostels are there, caravans are there, camping facilities are there. Cruise ships are also part of the hospitality industry. Even sometimes rail services are also part of hospitality industry. Car rental services are also part of hospitality industry. Coaches or bus services, particularly that are connected to tourism, that is also there. Restaurants are there, fast food centers are there, wine merchants are there, theme parks are there, natural attractions are there. Gaming entertainment options are there. Travel agencies are also can consider travel agencies as part of this one. Convention bureaus are there. Tour companies are there. Suppliers are there. Taxi services are there. Cameras and film provision centers are there. Shopping malls are there. Service stations are there. Sporting events are there. Banking services are there. And then entertainment venues are there, arts venues are there, historical site, museum, luggage handling areas, centers, real estate centers, construction centers, all can be considered either directly or indirectly part of the hospitality industry. So we need to understand the F&B. F&B represents food and beverage. Food and beverage is certainly part of the hospitality. It's a major element in the hospitality system, hospitality sector. It is very important. The experience the guests getting from the food and beverage during their stay in a particular location, during their spending of time in a tourist destination, that has a lot of significance in the tourist experience. Sometimes there is a kind of tourism called culinary tourism, gastronomic tourism, food tourism. These are all same. That means people prefer to have different and ethnic, sometimes authentic food from certain locations. People may travel for the purpose of having these kind of varied food items. So that kind of tourism we call it as culinary tourism, where the primary interest is in tasting the different culinary options that are available in a particular destination. For instance, people can have culinary tourism in Thailand. France is an example where they have exquisite, very fine gastronomy varieties available. So people may prefer to have that kind of taste as well. The guests would get enhanced experience by having the quality of food and beverage services. So experience is very important for a tourist. When a tourist is having good experience, naturally, he will be very happy and he will recommend these options to others also, to his friends, relatives and other people. If the experience is poor one, then definitely he will tell many people that he had a bitter experience, a bad experience as part of the visit. The food service sector consists of businesses that prepare food for customers. So it's a major sector and it has many significance in the hospitality and tourism sector. Now let us understand the typology of hotels. There are different types of hotel you might have heard about. Different terms are there. Some categories are based on the location. So it is one type of categorization, location based classification. So some hotels we call it as city center hotels. Some hotels we call it as suburban hotels. Airport hotels are there, highway hotels are there, motels are there. So these kind of classification is purely based on location. If where the particular hotel is located. So location based classification is a major classification in the hospitality industry. Function based hotels are there, like commercial hotels, conventions hotel. If it is a convention hotel, naturally the prime purpose is to provide facilities and services for organizing conventions, events and meetings, different kinds of events, and they will be having accommodation units as well. Commercial hotels means all the kind of hotels that are undertaken as part of commercial activity of certain kind of businesses. Some classification is based on market segment. For example, resort. Resort is a market segment depending upon the leisure tourist. Business tourists rarely visit a resort. Rather, the leisure tourists will be preferring a resort. Resorts are usually located on a very remote areas or at times on very naturally beautiful locations. Health spas are there. Health spa is purpose that are organized for the purpose of for the tourists to engage in the spa related activities. It's part of wellness tourism also. Vacation ownership or timeshare concept is also there. That is there for a long time. A period will be dedicated for the owner of that particular resort or a hotel. Casino hotels are there where gaming activities are there. So these kind of things are there where the classification is completely based on the type of the market segment which it will be serving. Then distinctiveness of property based classification is also there. How the property has certain kind of differences, distinctiveness. So that is one reason for classifying. Distinctiveness of primary property based classification is also a common one. For example, all suite hotels are there, boutique hotels are there, extended stay hotels are there, historic conventions or bed and breakfast inns are there. Bed and breakfast B&B is a very common one in European regions, and we have homestays also in our country. Then Airbnb is a very common one. Another important categorization is based on grading, rating. That is actually very important one. We heard about star hotels. So that is a rating or a grading based one. 1-star hotels are there, 2-star hotels are there, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and 1 diamond to 5 diamond hotels are also there. So this is completely based on the grading of the hotels, depending on the facilities and services inside. And ownership is another another basis for the classification of hotels. There are private hotels, independent hotel owned by person, partnership or private companies are there. Then local group hotels are there, where several hotels owned by a local company. That is there in the different states where in one particular local there will be more than one hotels are there that under the single ownership. International groups are there. Hotel which is part of an international chain of hotels. Chain of hotels is very important, that a number of diverse hotels owned by one agency and are located in different countries or regions. So they are usually corporations or corporate companies or multinational companies, in fact. If it is independent hotel, owner operated, independent hotel represents the owner will be directly operating, managing the hotel. These are in fact single unit businesses. These not connected with any other businesses. So these are also very common, especially in the tourist destinations. They will be having only one unit. Family owned and operate hotels are there. Bed and breakfasts are there. Homestays are there. These are different kinds of family owned or independent hotels, owner operated hotels. Usually it will be having one owner, so it is a kind of proprietorship or partnership or corporation. What is the advantage of independent hotels? Lot of autonomy. The owner can make the policies, procedures, they can undertake the marketing, and financial obligations can be met by the owner itself. And marketing can be tailored to specific groups of consumers. Populations and locations are nearby, so depending upon the situations, they can attract more tourists and all. A lot of flexibility is there in terms of management. They can take the decisions. No need to wait for the decision from the some other superiors and all. Easy adaptation to changing market conditions is another important thing. And there are certain disadvantages as well. More money spent on national advertisement, because if they want to market it, it is very difficult for them. Just for one hotel marketing, because as far as hotels are concerned, their customers are coming from faraway places. So undertaking marketing in all the markets would be very, very difficult. And if something happens, it is a very highly risky one. If something happens, they have to bear the whole risk. And if anything is on loss, then definitely the complete loss will be on the owner. Usually nowadays, what is the problem is travelers look for, tourists look for, guests look for the kind of brands as well. If particularly the upmarket category of tourists prefer to have brands. If it is a single owner one, then having a brand value, it is very difficult. Another very common one is management contract. Management contract is a kind of contract being signed by the owner of the property, and there are certain agencies that can undertake effective management of hotels. Management companies are there. They operate properties owned by other entities. So many of the hotels what we come across, what we see, what happens is the structure, the building may be of somebody else. The owner may be somebody, but it is being run by another agency. So the branch may be given by the another agency that is running that business. Their brand may be used. Owner retains a financial and legal responsibility for the property, and the management company operates the hotel, pays hotel expenses, and receives an agreed upon fee. So when the hotel is being run under this contract, what is the benefit for the management companies? They will be getting the commission or the fee as part of the agreement. That all depends upon what they agreed in the agreement. After operating expenses and fees have been paid, remaining profit goes to the owner. So in fact, owner will be getting the benefit for the capital that is invested, and the profit will come to the owner. Owner then pays debt, insurance, taxes, etc. That is the responsibility of owner. For example, if an investor who did not have an experience on running a hotel, they builds and owns a hotel, investor hires any management company like Hilton or Taj Group of Business or whatever to manage the hotel. A hotel has that particular name either of Hilton or Taj or whatever, and then most follow the standard that are stipulated by the Hilton or Taj, or according to them they have to run the show, run the business. Another example is another type is actually investor with no hotel experience buys a Hilton franchise. So franchise is also possible in this category. The hotel management company hired to manage the hotel for the investor. Hotel has the name of the particular management company. It can be Hilton or any other company, and follow the standards that are stipulated by the management company. Chain hotels are there, multiple unit businesses that have same brand name and possibility of the same ownership. It can be proprietorship, partnership, or corporation. So, but the brand name will be same and it will be having multiple units in different cities or different tourist destinations. Chain hotels may be through a management contract, franchisee or referral group, whatever, different types of business models they will be following. The advantage of chain hotel is actually a good brand name is there, strong brand identity is there. When you have a strong brand identity, what is the benefit is consumers easily identify your property. They may not have hesitations to purchase your product. The owner develops brand identity through advertisement, public relations, and promotion. So naturally, the owner of the company, they create these kind of marketing communication in order to attract, in order to persuade the consumers. Client loyalty is also very significant in this. Frequent guest programs are possible so that customer retention is very easy. Suppliers purchase in large quantities so that they get lot of commission, lot of reduction can be there for the products. Centralized and specialized services are possible like training, site selection, information system. These can be shared with all the units as well as purchase can be done in a centralized location. Moreover, central reservation center can be there so that advanced latest technology can be used for reservations. But still there are some disadvantages. Very big control by the properties over the properties. So minimum standards, rules, policies and procedures can be possible and less flexibility in management procedures because also when they are managing they have to have permission from both the agency, from the authorities of that management company as well as from the ownership as well. So flexibility is limited as far as the chain hotels are concerned. Franchisee hotel is another important one. It's usually a part of a chain that has been purchased by an outside owner. That outside owner is called as franchisee. The outside owner runs a franchise in the way required by the chain owner. The owner of that is in fact franchisor. There will be established standards for design, for the furniture and for the interior and operating procedures. Everything will be stipulated. That means a hotel, whoever is running that one, they need to follow that. Very big advantages, very strong brand name is there. Travelers prefer to stay with brands they recognize. In fact, it is easy to attract consumers when the brand name is there. Consistent established products and level of service is there, so it is very easy. National and international central reservation system is possible. Advertising and other marketing, communication, promotional activities can be done on a larger area, on a vast area. Management training programs can be possible. Advanced technology can be utilized because they can share the facilities and services connected to technology, particularly connected to information technology. Central purchasing is there. When they purchase in large quantity, they get lot of discount, a lot of reduction price. So that is also an advantage for them. And lot of consulting is possible for the architectural construction and interior design, so that the attractiveness, the beauty of that particular building would be much better. Still, there are some disadvantages. Strong control over individual properties, minimum standards, rules, policies and procedures, less flexibility in management procedures, and must pay a fee to the franchisor. Another category is referral groups are there. Independent hotels which are branded together for a common purpose. In fact, for example, OYO is a kind of referral group. Hotels are not replicas but offer consistency in level of service. Hotels within the group refers guests to other affiliated properties. So that these kind of groups, like alliances in the airlines, they make groups themselves and they support each other. Whoever are the members in that particular group, they will support each other for getting reservation and booking and other sort of activities. They offer central purchasing services, particularly the interior furnishings, bath amenities, linen, towels and restaurant items, so that they get lot of advantage. There are some disadvantages as well. Members must maintain a certain operating standard. That means every member in that particular referral group have to follow the standards stipulated. Limited control over members on agreed upon items. It is not possible to control each and everyone. A member can leave whenever it becomes dissatisfied. It is easy for them to leave it. The group can ask a member to leave if the member doesn't meet the requirements to pay dues. Hospitality industry is also having environmental consequences. It is contributing to the environmental impacts of tourism. Let us see, let us have an introduction about the environmental issues. It has become very important to respond to global concerns associated with environmental issues. So any industry, not only hospitality, not only tourism, but every industry has to respond to the things that are coming up from the international business environment. So environmental considerations are very strong. Companies have to follow that. Some hotels have embraced the principles of sustainable development to mirror customer concerns with the energy consumed by their stay. For example, hotels, they started to have different kinds of procedures and processes and practices in order to consider take care of the environment, recycling, reusing linen and towels, and these are some of the small examples. Energy management systems are there, utilizing the waste for making biogas. That same biogas can be used for lighting the street lights and for cooking purposes and all. And also no need to cut any trees and other things, but rather protecting the trees and other plants in the most possible manner. Much more major measures have been undertaken by small hotels, which have run environmental audits to assess the environmental cost of their activities in connection with energy consumption, transportation, waste, purchasing, health, local environment. These are taken care by them. Let us see what are the functions and departments in a hotel. A hotel, it's not like what we see in the case of a small hotel. A big hotel, because there are hotels of having 500 rooms and 1000 rooms. Naturally, that many number of people will be working, and coordination is very, very important. So they will be having a very effective departmental system. Let us see what are the common functional departments in a hotel. Front office, housekeeping department, back office, room service department, restaurant and kitchen, maintenance and engineering department, safety and security department, marketing and sales department. So these kind of different departments are there in a particular hotel. Front office is like a nerve center for a hotel. There all the bookings, reservation, check-in, cash collection, payment by the customer, dealing with the travel agencies and tour operators and sort of things. They have to provide the first impression, and they have to support the tourists, those who are coming, because the guests or the tourists are actually the strangers over there. So we need to have a very welcome, what we call it as attitude to the tourists. Housekeeping is the next one. Housekeeping department is looking after all the rooms and other things and the property, and they serve the stay. They ensure the comfortable stay of the people inside the rooms. Back office is another important area. Lot of administrative activities will be taken place. For example, personnel management or human resource management. These are usually undertaken at the back office. Accounting activities is also undertaken in the back office. Financial aspects, financial management will also be taking place in the back office. Room service department is there. Room service usually provide food services to the guests, those who are in the rooms, when they are in the rooms. So that they undertake the services on the basis of request. The guests, those who are in the rooms, they make telephone calls or any other kind of communication in order to get the food they prefer to have. Restaurant and kitchen is very important for a hotel. The hotel has to provide good quality food. The customer experience has very important significance for the food also. So restaurant and kitchen is another important part. Maintenance and engineering department is also an important department. The property has to be maintained effectively, efficiently. So anytime they will require people to look after the building. And also engineering department, they will be having engineers. Safety and security is another important. Nowadays, after the terrorism became a major issue, safety and security is a major concern. lot many kind of screening and other activities are nowadays being undertaken in the hotel sector. More importantly, marketing and sales. That is also very important because that can bring the customers for the company. They undertake plenty of marketing activities, including promotional activities and making decisions regarding marketing mix and others. So that is a very important one. Sales will bring revenue for the company, and in the marketing department will be taking care of all the marketing activities that are important for the hotels.
So let us conclude the module. We studied about the F&B industry, what are the elements of the industry and why the food service is getting more and more significance in the new lifestyle, and what are the objectives and expectations as far as the people or the customers of the F&B sector is concerned, or different types of sectors come under the category of food and beverage. That includes the travel market, travel lodging market, contract feeding market, and military food services. And the details of each sector we discussed in this one, and the classification of food and beverage sector in general also we discussed, and the ownership, different types of ownerships we discussed in this one, which includes self-operated, franchisee, agreement, management, contracting, and outsourcing. And then we studied different types of food services like waiter service, counter or bar service, self-service, buffet service, Russian service, French service, a la carte service, and table d'hôte. And also we discussed various aspects connected with the menu planning, its objectives, and various aspects of it we studied in this one. Hope it was very meaningful for you. Let us conclude this way.